stability for Alberta and for Albertans and for the future. When Peter Lougheed first established the Alberta Heritage Savings Trust Fund in '76, he did that with a few goals in mind. To look to the future in terms of a future source of revenue, either through the income flowing from the fund or from the fund itself, to potentially pay down debt, and to improve the quality of life in the province. At the time, he feared that oil revenue and production would peak in the 1980s, but thanks to new technologies, that wasn't the case. But the principle of the fund stands. We need to ensure that Alberta has a revenue source for the day when resource revenues may decline. As it stands today, we receive around $20 billion a year in resource revenues. We're working to double our oil and gas production and get new capacity for pipelines to export the additional production, but any additional revenue in the present must have a plan for the future. That is why in January, our government announced an ambitious plan to grow the Heritage Fund to $250 billion by 2050. And I'm pleased to be here today to tell you that the fund has now reached $30 billion. Thanks to our fiscal management, we are now able to put some of our cash surplus from the 2024-25 fiscal year into the Heritage Fund, and our fiscal framework requires us to leave the investment income gained by the fund untouched, growing the fund even faster. It's difficult for some to believe that this is important. Some would say that the revenue we have today should all go to fund the needs of today. And like any government, we are required to make difficult decisions about how we spend taxpayer dollars. But the Heritage Fund is perhaps the most important investment that we can make today. The most solemn duty of any government is to ensure that future generations are able to enjoy the same benefits and quality of life that we do today, just as Peter Lougheed envisioned for the fund nearly 50 years ago. Today is a milestone in our strategy of achieving $250 billion. When Peter Lougheed left the job of Premier, the fund sat at $12 billion. When the United Conservatives formed government in 2019, it had barely grown. In the past 4 decades, it was standing at around $16 billion. Our government has nearly doubled the Heritage Fund in size in 6 years because we believe in a lasting legacy for our children, their children, and beyond. If the day comes where our resource revenues begin to decline, those future generations will be grateful for the investments made today in the Heritage Fund. Alberta's future is bright. Decades from now, we will be a strong province within a united Canada, and the future health, education, and infrastructure needs of our province will be supported by a Heritage Fund that will support the needs of Albertans while continuing to grow for millions of more Albertans to be able to enjoy the benefits. And with that, I'll hand it over to Finance Minister Nate Horner.
Thank you, Premier. Good day, everyone. As the Premier mentioned, we're proud to be here today to announce that Alberta's Heritage Fund now stands at $30 billion, up from $27.2 billion at the end of the fiscal year. With this latest $2.8 billion contribution, we remain firmly on track to grow the Heritage Fund to $250 billion or more by 2050. Through Heritage Fund investments, we are turning today's energy prosperity into tomorrow's economic security. Due to the actions taken by our government, we have been able to grow the fund by over 80% in the last 5 years. And we are committed to growing the Heritage Fund even further so future generations can benefit from long-term economic security. Achieving substantial growth for the Heritage Fund will take more than just luck. It will demand planning, responsibility, and discipline. However, once we reach 2050, the Heritage Fund will start generating enough income to offset any decreases we may experience in resource royalties. Our plan ensures Alberta can stand strong through global uncertainty and market volatility, today, tomorrow, and for decades to come. This year, our government launched a new roadmap to grow the Heritage Fund with the goal to achieve long-term financial stability for the province. We know from the past that the fund cannot be beneficial if we do not have a strong framework to retain income in the fund and contribute when we can. When the fund was set up by former Premier Peter Lougheed, all the investment income from the Heritage Fund was reinvested into the fund with no withdrawals. But the right path isn't always followed. Money was spent and sometimes only modest contributions were made. Because of that, Alberta missed out on what could have been hundreds of billions of dollars in returns. That's why we took action and passed legislation to retain the income in the fund. And when oil prices are high, and we do have surpluses, we plan to invest a portion of those surpluses in the fund, like we are today. In Alberta, we believe that planning for the future is just as important as being prepared for today. We know that geopolitical uncertainty will always be part of the equation, making the price of our natural resources inherently unpredictable. We are committed to growing the Heritage Fund to provide long-term economic security for Alberta's future generations. But to get this right, we need the right tools and the right people. Central to our plan to renew the fund is the establishment of the Heritage Fund Opportunities Corporation. Led by an experienced team of wealth management professionals, the corporation governs and supports the growth of all Heritage Fund assets, ensuring we maximize returns. They oversee the fund, make investment decisions, and cooperate with other global wealth funds. The corporation will improve Alberta's access to global investment opportunities to create meaningful wealth and future prosperity. They will provide regular quarterly and annual reports on investment performance. As you can see, we're fully mobilized to ensure the Heritage Fund achieves its mission of lasting returns for Albertans. Growing the Heritage Fund from $30 billion as of today to $250 billion in 25 years is an ambitious goal. At a time of changing economic realities and a rapidly shifting global landscape, we need a plan to withstand external shocks. And I'm proud to report that we have a plan that will achieve the growth that Albertans need and deserve. This $30 billion isn't just a number, it's our commitment to Alberta's future going forward. Thank you, and I'm looking forward to the next milestone. I'd now like to invite Joe Lougheed, the Chair of the Heritage Fund Opportunities Corporation, to say a few words.
Thanks very much, Minister. Ladies and gentlemen and fellow Albertans, today is an important day. It is a milestone. Alberta's long-term savings account is as strong as it has ever been. By investing surplus dollars from time to time when they are available into the Heritage Fund, the Alberta government is investing in the long-term assets of this province. They're investing in projects and people such that the province in the long term will have the financial flexibility, as the Minister has noted, to weather storms in the future, to deliver the services the people of this province expect, and the impactful investments which we deserve in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank the Premier and the Minister for this important milestone announcement today. It is meaningful for all Albertans today and in the future. As well, concurrent with this announcement in the press release that comes out today, the Heritage Fund Board is announcing its initial Board of Directors. I hope when the public sees this initial board, they will understand that it's made up of an impactful group of Albertans and international representatives that will help provide independent oversight of these important assets. And we expect that 2 or 3 additional board members will be appointed in the weeks ahead. So, Premier and Minister, thank you. Thank you for investing in Alberta and its future. Thank you.
Thank you to all of our speakers. We'll now head into the media Q&A portion. We'll be taking